It is back to back for Fitzpatrick and his brother, which is kind of weird. The Cadillac Championship at the Trump National in Doral, also known as the Blue Monster. It's a signature event, one of the PGA signature events, pretty loaded field. And we've got a lightning round where we're going to talk NHL, NFL, and a little live golf, or at least what's left of live golf. It's the Bones Brothers Golf Show. Joining us from Tampa, Florida, TW Man. How you doing today, buddy?
What up? What up? Always great to be here. I know you guys probably think it's redundant and get sick of hearing it, but the sun is shining, and so all things are good down here.
Bones DK back after a long draft weekend in Pittsburgh. At least your beard didn't go gray on you here. It's still red. How you doing, bud?
There's some gray getting in there, honestly, Edge. I think there's a little more that grew in this weekend. But man, it was a long, long weekend. But I'll tell you what, I had an amazing weekend because I took down our league again, had another great DraftKings week. I wasn't on the podcast, but I was successful with Stevens and Hoagie, our boy Hoagie, top six. That's my third win of the season. I took overall points in the league, and that's my third win of the season. So I'm feeling great and ready to gamble on more golf this weekend.
We're going to talk about the Cadillac here in just 1 second, but if we look back at the Zurich quickly, our core four had flashes of greatness as it has all season long. Before we get into that, though, real quick, Wild Man, how do Lowry and Koepka get cut from this event where the winning score is 31 under par? Explain that to me.
Well, look, we touched on it last week, man. It's the alternate shot dynamic. It's just a difference maker. It actually bit the core four there with the Canadians. I mean, it just it can get away from you there with some bad tee shots. And by the way, what's been the theme of the last several weeks for us? Lowry just implodes under pressure.
Not that this tournament was really full of pressure, but again, we do talk about chemistry too. And I don't know if Koepka and Lowry have the best chemistry necessarily. But if you evaluate your performance last week, that was the first time, Wild Man, you had to do a core four. You did miss on Hughes and Pendrith. They actually missed the cut, but Retan and Ventura tied for second. We almost double popped that one there because your prop drop last week was that we were going to see a playoff. Horschel and Hoagie, as Bones DK just mentioned, went 27 under par. They finished tied for tied for sixth. Griffin and Novak, who won the event the year prior, finished tied for 10th. Putnam and Smotherman was our rogue warrior. They missed the cut, but you did hit on our prop drop, the over 25 under par. So where do you have, if you had to give yourself a letter grade, and don't forget I used to be a teacher, I could probably give you one on this one here. What letter grade would you give yourself here? A, B, C, D, F.
I think it all really came down to that Retan and Ventura. I mean, they made three eagles on Sunday, five in the tournament to nearly force a playoff. So that would have probably been maybe an A minus had they won the event. So I'm going to give myself a right on the fringe of a C plus B minus. We'll take a B minus.
I think that's a fair grade. We're looking forward to your Rogue Warrior coming up here just a little later in the broadcast. Bones DK, any final thoughts about the Zurich before we move on to the Cadillac?
No, I'm just ready for the Cadillac. The team event's pretty cool, but I'm happy it's over. I want some money. I'm excited. Let's move on to this week.
Real quick, though, what about Fitzpatrick's brother getting the PGA Tour card? Is that a little gimmicky, you think, for the tour?
No, I think it's a pretty cool event. I'm just frustrated because we played Fitzpatrick at the Masters. We've been all over him all year, and I just somehow got off in those last 2 weeks. And of course, he finally wins back-to-back tournaments, and it was honestly painful for me. I mean, in hindsight, it was easy. It was a chalky play. Everyone played him in Survivor, and I was pretty disappointed that he won again. But it is what it is. We're going to keep playing our guys.
Yeah, I mean, besides Scheffler, Fitzpatrick is without a doubt the hottest golfer going right now. Wildman, is it fair that his brother got a PGA Tour card off really Matty's back?
I don't think you can argue whether he deserves the win or the things that come with it. You might be able to argue that the sponsors exemption's a little lame, but look, I was watching him all weekend, and I know that Matt Fitzpatrick got all the glaze because he made that 35-yard bunker shot on 18 on Sunday, but Alex Fitzpatrick was the better player last week. believe it or not. Several tap-in birdies that he set up. So he earned it. He earned it. You got to give it where it's due.
Alex Fitzpatrick in the field this week. Matty Fitzpatrick is not. Let's talk about the Cadillac. It is a PGA signature event, a $20 million purse. It's at the Trump National Doral. It's called the Blue Monster. Can you give us some insight into why they call it the Blue Monster, Wildman?
Yeah, so I mean, why it's called that, it's just the nickname for it. But this is a beast, man. It's almost 7,800 yards. When you look back at some of the winners of this event and some of the guys that have contended at this event, it is a monster, no pun intended. And it's returning to this course for the first time in 10 years. Hasn't played here since 2016. But again, I mean, you gotta be long off the tee. I want to give you some names of some guys that have won this event and some guys that have been runner-up at this event. You tell me if you can find anything in common. Winners: Adam Scott, Dustin Johnson, Patrick Reed, Tiger, only 7 times for Tiger. Justin Rose, Ernie Els, Mike Weir, some runner-ups: Bubba Watson 4 times, DJ, VJ Singh, Adam Scott, Charles Schwartzel. That might be your giveaway there. What do you know in common with those guys?
They're all major winners.
They've either you're on it there. They've either won the Masters or have a top 3 at the Masters. All those guys I just named. So, really, if you've had success at Doral between 2000 and 2016, you either have a green jacket or have sniffed a green jacket.
That's really good information right there, Wildman. What kind of build are we going for then this week, Rob? We got to be long off the tee. How important is accuracy? What's the rough going to be like? What are the greens going to be like? What kind of build are you going for?
Yeah, driving distance is definitely something I'm looking at this week. In the core 4, we have 2 guys in the top 6 in driving distance that we're going to talk about. And also, it's a signature event, Edge. So, I'm going for these guys at major winners and have contended at majors. And all 4 guys in the core 4 have either won a major or top 5 to major in recent years. So that's the type of guy I'm looking for this week.
Well, let's get to it. What's the core 4? Who is your number 1 guy in your core 4 that you feel best about this week?
It's interesting because I'm going back to 2 guys that withdrew already this year while I had them in my lineup and totally screwed me over, but I still believe in these guys. We're going to start it off with Colin Morikawa at 9,800. I love what he's been doing this year, and his form is incredible. He's number 1 in strokes gained approach, and I know his driving distance isn't super long, but with his irons right now, he's going to do just fine, especially because he's super accurate off the tee. He's number 4 in par 4 scoring, 16th in bogey avoidance, and 16 strokes gained off the tee. So Colin Morikawa, I mean, look at his recent form. Let me click him here, get this up. But he has a 4th, 7th, miscut of the players, which I ignore, another 5th, 7th, and win in his last 6 events. So come on. Let's fire up Colin Morikawa at 9,800. The next guy I'm going to look at is here, Jake Knapp, another guy that withdrew on me this year, Edge. And I had a great lineup going. But man, Jake Knapp, I mean, look at him. He's just like Colin Morikawa. 5th at the Farmers Insurance, 8th, 6th, miscut at the players. No, I'm ignoring that. 6th at the Texas Children's Houston Open and again, and 11th at the Masters. We're looking for guys that do well at the Masters. Jake Knapp pretty much does everything good right now. He's number 1 in scrambling from the rough, number 1 in putting from 20 to 25 feet, number 10 in putting from 15 to 20 feet, number 6 in driving distance, number 9 in putting average, and number 2 in scoring average. I mean, listen to what I just ripped off. He's in the top 10 in a lot of stats right now. I believe this course fits him perfectly, and I believe he's going to have his breakout win, honestly, this week, Jake Knapp. The next guy coming up here, sorry, I'm just going through my computer here. Another guy that we love to play. I mean, come on. If he's not on the core 4, there's something going on. I skipped him last week. I hated it. Harris English, the gum chewer. Former winner at Torrey Pines, a good corollary course here, coming off a 4th at the RBC. Another guy that has a 12th at the Masters, and he's top 8 in putting. A guy, Harris English, man, at this price, $8,500. Let's fire him back up. And then the last core 4 is – this is a guy that, wow, man, I'm going to say he put me on him. and I think he's a very strong play this week. Let me get his stats here. Number 2 in driving distance, a guy that we want to play well. He has 3 straight top 15s with a win lately. Our boy, Scary Gary Woodland. Also has a top 12 or 13 at the Masters with his all-time $7,400. If you plug him in with this core 4, it leaves you $7,400 left for 2 guys, and that gives you a lot of wiggle room to play there.
Wildman, your comments first on the core 4. What do you like? What do you dislike? Or are you all in on this thing?
I like it. I'll say the glaring thing to me this week is Jake Knapp's price. I mean, man, that is a big time price for him to be priced $500 over Hideki Matsuyama, 1,000 over English. He's more expensive than Patrick Cantlay. You know, this is a guy that's kind of waiting for his breakout moment. That's a really high price, but I'll tell you what, he's like, if you know who Freddie Couples is, which I know you guys do, and you know Freddie's tempo, this guy's Fred Couples 2.0, Jake Knapp. I mean, it is silk, and he bombs it down the fairway. It looks effortless. And look, I mean, Rob Bones just said all those stats. I mean, hard to argue there. Gary Woodland's on the comeback tour, man. You know, you followed his story with the brain lesion and the surgery and the PTSD and all the things leading up to that. And he's bombing it off the tee, man. You know, Gary Woodland was recruited to the University of Kansas to play basketball, or KU, I should say. So he's an athlete, a really nice guy also. But no, and you know, I don't have a bad word to say about the Chewer.
I mean, we are going back to the wishing well here on Harris English. No jackpot yet with this guy. That doesn't concern you boys?
No, I mean, listen, he has 2 runner-up in majors, man. He has been so consistent this year. I know it's a no-cut event, but Harris English is a guy that can go out and win any tournament, especially because this one's going to be a little tougher. The winning score is normally around -6 or -5, wild man. So, I mean, the guy is so good at putting. He's scrambling. Another guy that was almost in the core 4, which I didn't put in, was Hideki Matsuyama. Another guy I like a lot this week, only because he can putt well. He's great around the green. And he tends to win tournaments where they're like -4, -5 over. So, I mean, Jake Knapp, these stats, you can't beat him right now, man. I believe he's arguably the best golfer stat-wise in the league right now. He had a little hiccup with that injury or why he withdrew. Next to Scotty Scheffler, I believe Jake Knapp can win this tournament easily. I'm telling you.
Gary Woodland at 7-4, Harris English at 8-3, Colin Morikawa at 9-8, Jake Knapp at 9-8. Wildman, who can you contribute to this lineup in a rogue warrior?
Yeah, I'm going to kind of like, Rob
As
just
a
mentioned
rogue
his
warrior,
name.
excuse me.
I just mentioned him a moment ago. Rob did as well. Kind of weird to have a $9,000 player as a rogue warrior, but it's Hideki. Look, I just went on a diatribe about correlation to Augusta. Hideki's got a green jacket. We talk about the Chewer, how much we love his consistency, his short game, his iron play. If you look at Matsuyama's results over the last, say, 8 to 10 events versus Harris English's results over the last 8 to 10 events, very similar. Bunch of top 25s, handful of top 5s, top 10s, just waiting for a big breakout. And look, I mean, you're talking about a guy that's won several times and has won majors. I think he's 58 for 63 in majors in his lifetime. Now, this is a no-cut event, but point being, when the lights are shining the brightest, Hideki seems to show up. 9K is a bargain and a half in a no-cut event with 72 players.
A couple other names I want to bounce off you here, Bones DK. If we had to, these are 2 friends of the podcast right here, Patrick Cantlay and Russell Henley. Henley coming in at 9-9, I believe, and Cantlay coming in at 9-4. If you had to coin flip these 2, who you taking?
I'm a big Russell Henley guy. I've been a fan of Patrick Cantlay in the past. He's actually been on some winning lineups with us, but I think Russell Henley is a top tier golfer. I mean, he's ranked top 10 in the world. 3rd at the Masters. Again, we're talking about a correlation with the Masters. Russell Henley is a great correlation to the Masters. He always has success there. 13th at the Players. This guy, Yes, Patrick Cantley over or Russell Henley over Patrick Cantley for sure.
Let me give you this one, wild man. A couple guys that are very similar. Hovland at 8-9, Justin Rose at 8-7. Two guys we love on the Bones Brothers podcast. If you were up against it and you had to choose one, who do you prefer at this course?
I think 9 times out of 10, I'm going to take Rosie at any course over Victor Hovland. However, Bones DK just shared a link with me here moments before the cast that Rose has switched his irons to the Formula One. What's the name of the company? I can't even. McLaren. He will be the first player ever to use McLaren F1 Auto Racing engineered irons on Thursday. So he's been working with them in the engineering, and this is the second time Rose has undergone a major equipment change. He did it when he was world number one, believe it or not, and happened to win the second event that he went in with new equipment, but quickly fell out of number one overall in the world at that time. That was maybe 10, 15 years ago. So this week, I think it's a coin flip. I'm maybe leaning towards Victor Hovland just because of that. Now, Rose will have the same putter and the same woods, but oh boy, that is scary.
I tell you what, Edge, I was really high on Rose about an hour ago until I saw this article and he's switching irons. I don't know if I'm willing to put a risk on this with the guy using brand new irons. I mean, I'm not really sure why he did it, but I just saw it on the PGA Tour app an hour ago, and it made me go into panic. I'm going to tell you this right now. It made me go into panic when I saw that news. I mean, what's going on here? I don't want
Yeah,
to play a guy with brand new irons.
he is like a walking billboard, right, Rose? I mean, he's
He
got
is.
14 freaking logos on his shirt and his hat and everything. So he has had the McLaren uh, logo on his gear for a year or so since he signed on with them. But just seems like a kind of an odd place to bring that equipment in at such a big event at number three or whatever he is in the world, number five in the world. And some of his quotes, look, he's a pretty stand up guy, also a really nice guy, and but he has said, look, I can practice all I want at the range and things like that, but you're going to have to get these irons into tournament play to truly get comfortable and evolve with them. So
Let me give you a quick trio here, Bones DK. Ricky Fowler at 8,000, Jordan Spieth at 82, Adam Scott at 84. You've got enough in the bank to get any one of the three. Who do you like at Doral?
I know Ricky Fowler's been playing pretty good lately. I'll tell you what about Jordan Spieth. It's funny you bring him up. I've been playing him a lot this year. I thought maybe he was having like a rebound year, and I kept playing him at the RBC, all these different tournaments, and he just let me down. So I'm off Jordan Spieth. I gave it a go. If he wins, then it's just my luck, but I don't think he will. I think Adam Scott has been playing pretty consistent this year, and I think I'm going to choose him over the three there. Adam Scott's driver is very consistent. And again, he actually doesn't make a ton of birdies, but he doesn't make a ton of bogeys. This is actually a course I could see him doing very well out this week, and probably has a chance to, top 10, top 20 this tournament, to be honest with you. I like him a lot.
I've got a trio for you now, Wild Man, and really surprised we didn't hear any of these names in your Rogue Warrior. Justin Thomas at 7,700, Jason Day at 7,700, and our boy Shane Lousy at 7,600. If you had enough in the bank for any one of those three, and I know desperate times call for desperate measures. I don't know if any of those guys are at the top of your list right now to fill up your lineup, but if you had to take one of those three, who you taking at Doral?
I mean, you're going to laugh in my face when I say this, but boy, of these three, I mean, what are we picking with here? This is the dollar menu, right? By the way, Lowry did have 9 feet on the 36th hole to make the cut last week. Miss Gonzo, see ya. Take a flight home. No thanks on him. A couple of other corollary courses that we have this week are Torrey and Riviera, and Day has wins at those courses. So
Played
again,
well at the Masters this past couple weeks ago also.
yeah. And just like Rob said about Adam Scott, where conditions are tougher, I do like Day. I don't know that he, much like Adam Scott, are guys that can get to 19, 20 under. But can they win a tournament where, they're grinding out pars and a couple of birdies and bogey avoidance? Sure. I do like Day. like you said, wins at other long courses, plays very well scrambling out of the rough with his second shot, always ranks up near the top of the tour, and uh, everything but a green jacket at Augusta. So,
In my non-expert opinion, Bones DK, and we just like talking about the Georgia Bulldog Sepp Straka on this podcast. 7,900 for Sepp this week. Is that a bargain at Doral?
Yeah, Seth Straka is he's tough to play, man. I mean, he pops up randomly and he can win you a lot of money. He's going to be low owned this week, and I do like playing him at signature events. He seems to show up at like big tournaments like this. However, he does have like horrible major history, so I'm not going to fall on Sepp Straka this week, even though I love the guy and I play him a lot. There's a couple guys I like down here. I see we have 7,400 left in the lineup for all of our followers that are listening. I think Keegan Bradley, shout out Jackson Hole Golf and Tennis. I spoke with Mr. Bradley a couple of times last year, former pro at Jackson Hole Golf and Tennis. Love Keegan Bradley. Keith Mitchell, he's a bomber. Love his driver. And it's also back in Florida, and I always play him at Florida Swing. So Keith Mitchell is a great play down there. And then another guy I want to mention is Sam Stevens. Talk about the corollary at Torrey Pines. He has great success there. Has a runner up there. So Sam Stevens, I had him last week on my winning lineup, and he did very well on the team. So Sam Stevens, Keith Mitchell, Keegan Bradley, and Rio Hisane, or however you say his name. I love him. I just call him Rio. And Daniel Berger, kind of like an Adam Scott type guy. This guy doesn't make many bogeys. He's pretty good with the driver. He's been playing pretty good, just can't putt. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see Daniel Berger pop up on the leaderboard this week.
Wildman, what about Sam Burns? I know he may not look like Knapp when he swings when you compare him to Fred Couples, but when you talk about a guy that does a lot of things well and was playing well at the Masters and playing pretty good right now, Burns at 9,100. I don't know how he equates. What do you think about him?
yeah, and don't forget that the U.S. Oakmont in our backyard in Pittsburgh, U.S. Open at Oakmont, I should say, this past year, he went into Sunday with a several shot lead. So can obviously play long courses, can obviously play tough courses and courses with big fields. Yeah, you're looking at that 7th at the Masters and backing that up with a 16th at Heritage, and some good results at the Players. Those are all kind of different types of courses that he seems to be playing pretty well at. And if his putter gets hot, he can win at any course in America.
I think one guy this week, Bones DK, that could be telling as to where this golf tournament is going to finish up. And when you look at some of these, what you might be paying for some of these golfers as you go down the list, Scheffler makes sense, Young makes sense, Henley makes sense, Fleetwood, Cantlay. 6th in salary this week is Chris Gotterup, one of the longest hitters on tour. Is that what it's going to take? And where do you see Gotterup? Are you overpaying for Gotterup this week? I think you obviously are, right? But because he hits it so far, is he going to be a factor in this tournament come Sunday?
He was on my radar heavy. I've done a lot of research on him, honestly, this week, and he was close to making, headlines on this podcast. However, I just get worried about all his bogeys and double bogeys. Like he does hit it very far, but he has some blow up holes, and I just don't think he is fit for this course to really win or make a run at 9,300. He does bomb it. He's in the top 5 driving distance, makes a ton of birdies. I just wish he was. It's hard to say. I mean, 24th of the Masters is pretty damn good. But I just wish he was playing a little better. His double bogeys and bogeys concern me at this course, especially when he wanted to be like a -4 win. I just think he sprays it. He's a little too inconsistent. So it's just something that worries me a little bit this week. But his driving distance and can win him tournaments, and he's proven to win tournaments this week. Hard to fade him, but he didn't make the core 40. He's not going to make my lineups this week.
All right, about to get the prop drop this week, which we went 1-in-1 on last week. Do want to remind you, though, we went over a lot of golfers there. If there's somebody in particular you want to hear about, simply fire a message at BonesDK or TW Man on their social media platforms. We'll get those. Well, you guys want to give them right now, BonesDK? How can they get in touch with you on social media before we get the prop drop here?
X at BonesDKGolf.
Wild man, do you want to throw your social media handle out there, or are you embarrassed?
Yeah, I'm no, I'm on X as well at TWman66.
All right, prop drop. We're going to start with TW Man. Who you got, Dubs?
Prop drop. Let's stick with what we went with last week. We went 1-1. We wanted there to be a playoff. It was almost a three-way playoff. This week we're going to go winning score if it's offered by your book under 10 under. So single digit winning score. You haven't seen one that's gone way over 10 under since like Tiger days. Last couple have been in that 4 to 8 under par, 4 to 9 under par range. Feels like a pretty safe bet. And look, when leaderboards are bunched like that, I like playoff again. Let's stick with it. Let's keep betting it till we get it.
Bones DK, you want to add to the prop drop? Those are great bets, Wild Man, by the way. I love them. I could see it's going to be, I agree, low scoring here, if you will. Somewhere between probably 6 and 9 under wins. And that it could equate into a playoff. You're going to have a lot of guys maybe around that number. Go ahead, Bones DK.
Well, I got an exciting one for us. It's $5, five measly dollars, and we can turn it into $1,000 if we win this prop bet. And I don't think it's that crazy. Why I picked the core four and what I expect out of them, I expect them to top 10 tournaments. And that's why I love them so much. Let's do a top 10 parlay with all four core four. Colin Morikawa, top 10. Woodland, top 10. Harris English, top 10. Jake Knapp, top 10. $5 to win $1,000.
So that's a 200 to 1 prop bet for all four of the core four. That's like a double down right there. Because I'll tell you what, you hit that prop, pretty good chance you're going to cash a big lineup, I would think also. To review our core four, it is Gary Woodland, it's Harris English, it's Colin Morikawa, it's Jake Knapp. That's the core four. We're going to top 10 parlay all of those also on a prop drop. Matsuyama at 9,000 is our Rogue Warrior. And then 2 additional prop drops from Wildman. We're going a single-digit score will win this tournament. We also think there will be a playoff. Any final thoughts, Wildman, before we move on to the lightning round on the Cadillac Blue Monster at Doral?
Yeah, what's always important down in these coastal tournaments is weather. There's not going to be any advantage to the waves. Almost identical conditions on Thursday and Friday. No precipitation. Little bit of windier conditions as the evening moves on, but both waves should experience almost the exact same Thursday and Friday conditions. And when you get into Saturday, you start getting into position placement and things like that. So I don't think there's any advantage to the waves this week.
Bones DK, any final thoughts on the Cadillac?
No, just with the top 10 parlay, I did do the same guys top 20 because you can do an SGP on that on DraftKings, and it's $10 to win 190 is a little safer bet. Top 20, all four core four as well, just to make a little money there and make it a little safer with top 20s.
All right. A few things before we get off of today's Bones Brothers Golf Show that aren't necessarily golf, but we got to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers here real quick. It appears that the Steelers are taking steps to make Aaron Rodgers their quarterback for another season next year, Wild Man. If you could describe the Pittsburgh Steelers organization in a single word right now, how would you describe it?
Stale loaf of bread. Does that count?
Well, that's 3 words, but it is one item, so we'll take that. Why? Why is it a stale loaf of bread? It's actually a pretty good description right now.
Yeah, I mean, you could go back. I mean, give it 10 years if you like. They've had an aging quarterback who can't do anything great. They've been finally investing in offensive linemen that haven't been panning out. They have 0 playoff wins. They walk around like they own everybody else's building. I mean, it's just a stale organization with very, very mid results for 10 plus years, guys.
Bones, are you able to comment on the Pittsburgh Steelers, even though you work in the building with which they embarrass themselves 10 times a year? Or
I could comment, hey, listen, we got Rico Dowdle, we got Pittman. I'm seeing some things in the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm a fan, and I'm not going to give up on this team, even though it's been pretty tough lately. But we're making moves.
Let's keep it in Pittsburgh. Let's go ahead, Wildman. Go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. I like that Caden Weegan guy. It looks like a really electric return man out of Iowa. And then you got to give props to the Mount Lebanon kid, Eli Heidenreich, for his service with the Naval Academy and that he made it to the NFL. So
Yeah.
Looks like a pretty exciting kid.
We are Western Pennsylvania kids by heart. That's where we went to school. So congratulations to a Lebo boy for sure. Flyers in 6, Pens in 7, Bones DK. What do you think?
Pens in 7.
Wild man?
Pens in 7. You got to be nuts to bet against 87.
The
Crosby.
team goes as Crosby goes. Is that just so obvious, though? When the guy scores, the engine just runs so much more efficiently, does it not?
It does. And by the way, I had anytime goal for Sid last night, plus 160. Double empty net post for the brick.
Oh man, had Philadelphia come back and somehow won that game after Crosby had rung the post and the side of the net on those empty netters. Oh my goodness. I don't think I ever would have been able to forget that moment or rub that moment from my mind. Live Golf canceling their New Orleans event, Bones DK. If John Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau could keep all the money they made and immediately be reinstated to the PGA Tour in exchange for spending 2 weeks of their lives in a Saudi Arabian prison, do you think they would do it right now?
Probably, especially Bryson. I mean, Rom has a big ego as well, but Bryson, I mean, that dude is chasing it, and he knows he made a mistake, and he looks like an idiot right now. And I kind of like it, honestly. I mean, what who cares about that guy? He left, he took the money, and now we wanted to feel, he wants us to feel bad for him. It's not going to happen.
Do you think they're like, what is a just punishment, Wild Man, to let them back onto the tour immediately, keeping all their money, um, without paying any type of penalty?
Well, I'll tell
Like,
you this: if they get sent to Saudi, they better send all that money to Schofield and Burroughs to get out of that one, right? Because they're not going to last down there. But no, I mean, look, the PGA Tour is a privilege, man. It's not a right. They made their decisions. I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel like they deserve anything. I don't feel like they have the right to anything. We talked about it a little bit last week. It's a true meritocracy. If the PGA Tour wants to allow them to qualify back into events, go for it. Try to get sponsors exemptions. Try to get people to back you. But no, you're not due anything, in my opinion.
and I know you had a lot to say about this earlier this week, Wild Man. Diana Rossini, Mike Vrabel, the story just continues to spiral and I don't know, like even a couple weeks after it's broken, the story just continues to like grow. How does this thing end for Vrabel? I think we all unfortunately know how it ends for Diana Rossini, and regardless of whether it's fair because she's the woman in this thing or whatever, that poor woman, I mean, she's got receipts all over social media talking garbage on her husband and talking about all the fun she had in Miami and just coming off very, very unbecoming. How does it end for Vrabel though? Like, do you think he gets into this season? Because it just continues, and it seems like there's somebody out there that's dropping these photographs. Like there's more to come, right? Like they're dropping photographs after it simmers down a little bit. Oh, here's another one. By the way, she was cheating on her husband the entire time they were married. Go on, Wild Man.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was part of maybe Rossini's shtick at the time, right? That she was like a little goofy and funny and comedic. But yeah, those receipts are coming back to bite her. Now, I will say this: two things. One, it is something to acknowledge that Rossini has already had to resign her post as a media member, being a female, and Vrabel's up there, oh, I just want to focus on these young men. Like that is a double standard, if ever there were. And then you look at the New England Patriots, right? You got Robert Kraft making whoopee with the Palm Beach masseuse parlor, right? You got Bill Belichick dating a girl 55 years younger than him. That organization just seems to, and of course Vrabel, right? Like you're just a misogynist and adulterer, and you're supposed to be a leader and held to standards. Like, does it bother me personally? No, of course not. You think he's the only guy that's ever, maybe gone on the other side of the fence once in a while. Let's be honest, marriage, you got to go to a courthouse to get married. You got to go to a courthouse to get unmarried. So it's a business transaction. But that certainly can call into play his morals and his character. And, do you deserve to be in a leadership role, making all kinds of money? Because, how can he ever change his tone from that? So I say eye for an eye. Rossini's got to go. Vrabel's got to go.
Yeah, I wanted a little bit of a quicker answer from you, we'll say, Bones DK, but I wanted to hear Wildman talk because I know he has a lot to say about that. It certainly falls short of what a lot of people would probably consider their morals. But does that matter? The guy got to the Super Bowl last year. And let's be honest, in America, what really matters? The winners or the losers, man. The winners are the ones that matter. And do you think it's really going to harm Vrabel in the long run? Not to mention, both these people have families and children who are probably aware and probably, I can only speculate, heartbroken by these things. But so again, you have to, I guess, bring all of these things. That's a long-winded response out of me also, Bones DK. So let's just go. Will he be there at the beginning of the season?
I personally don't think it's probably going to affect his career, but it definitely could. I mean, if you're in the media that much and it gets worse, I could see something happening. Life happens, shit happens, but I would be a little surprised if he wasn't the coach, but it wouldn't surprise me if he wasn't either.
All right, Gary Woodland, Harris English, Colin Morikawa, Jake Knapp is the core four. Hideki Matsuyama is our rogue warrior. We're taking a single-digit score as a winning score in this tournament as a prop drop. We're thinking it's going to a playoff also. We're going to keep that one as a prop drop. And then we're going to parlay all four of our core fours also for a $5, 200 to 1 parlay bet to win $1,000. And let's get a jackpot. Let's get a jackpot this weekend, boys. Wildman, any final thoughts before we sign off today?
Yeah, back to Vrabel and Rossini. Not kidding.
Hey, man, it's a good name for a podcast, isn't it? Hey, you're listening to Vrabel and Rossini in the morning.
Yeah, how do you Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Any final thoughts, Bones DK?
No, I'm just excited to win money this week. I mean, I can't wait till everyone wins $1,000, and I can't wait to win more money this week. I feel very strong about the core four and our guys, and I hope everyone listening wins this week. Let's win it all.
Hey, by the way, real quick, Pinehurst, when we were down there this weekend, we played courses. The shortest one I played was 6,400 yards, so we played them all from the blues. Tobacco Road, I had a 97. At Pine Needles, I had an 85. At Mid-South, I had a 97. And then the other course, where did we play? Anyhow, I had a 90 at that other one. So I broke 90 at least one time.
We'll talk about the 85 real quick. How do you get 12 shots better than what'd you do?
It was run some putts in. I mean, those putts are so true down there. Talamore was the other one I played where I shot 90. So those greens are so true down there. I was able to run some putts in, and they were so quick that if you could two-putt a lot of those greens, you were in pretty good shape. You know what I mean?
Did you heed my advice with low country knockdowns?
I don't even remember the advice. Tell me what it was, and I'll tell you.
I mean, you got to putt from everywhere within like 100 feet of the green.
Yeah, so I did putt from a lot of the times off the green, but I was also really sharp with my bump and run all weekend long. And really where I was giving up strokes was out of the fairway bunkers. And then, some of the greens are just so well protected. You're coming out of the sand, and I'm just not that good out of the sand.
Hey, it sounds like that short game was as smooth as sandpaper with a 97, huh?
Yeah, well, hey, I never went over 100. We had a couple 115s in our group. We had a couple 105s in our group. And I won $650, so it didn't go all that poorly for me.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's right. For TW Man, Bones DK, my name is Edge. Thanks so much for listening, guys. Until next time, good luck at the Blue Monster this weekend in Doral. Thanks for being here, guys.